Howdy folks, welcome to Katie Phillips Scrapbook Designs. I'm Katie and today we're going to work on page number 3 in the Reach for the Stars mini album. For this album we're going to be using the Theater of Stars paper pad by Recollections. So I've already made some cuts. I'm going to set this aside so that I don't damage my project. So let's start with our various flaps and pockets and non-matte bits and bobs. So we have the base page. It's 6 1/4 by 7 1/2. We're going to score the 6 1/4 inch side at 5 3/4 and 5 1/2. We have two flaps. They measure 4 3/4. Actually, flap number 1 is 4 3/4 by 7 1/2. We're going to score the 4 3/4 inch side at 4 1/4 and 4 inches. Flap number 2 is 4 1/2 by 7 1/2. We're going to score the 7 inch or the 4 1/2 inch side at 4 inches. And we've got two pockets. They are mirrors of each other, and the overall dimensions are 4 1/2 by 8. We're going to score the 4 1/2 inch side along this edge at 1/2 inch, and the 8 inch side along this edge we're going to score at 1/2 inch. And I've made marks 1.5 inches from this corner and 2.5 inches from this corner and drawn a line between the two. We're going to cut this section off. And this is just the mirror. We've got to mark 1.5 inches from this side and 2.5 inches from the bottom, and we're going to cut that off. So let's get trimming and scoring, and we're going to ink the edges with Black Soot Distress Oxide. We're almost done on the pockets, on the bumpy side. Laying down double-sided tape on the tabs right up against the edge of the paper. And on the flaps, I went ahead and mitered those corners so that there would be just a little more room. And now I'm going to cut this corner off, just cut straight through there. Unlike most of the rest of the pockets I do, this edge here, this edge, and this edge are all going to be freeze. So I am inking both sides just in case something ends up being visible from the outside, but along the scored edges we just need to ink the front. Right, that takes care of the inking and scoring. What is next? I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mat the outside of these two pockets. And this base mat. That's pocket mat, base mat. Okay, so the dimensions on the pocket mat are 3 3/4 by 7 1/4. I've got 2 of those, and I do need to ink the edges because these have not been inked. But before I do that, I want to trim out the part that we don't need. So this mat is 3 3/4 by 7 1/4. And if I trim out, if I just draw a line along this cutaway section, that's going to give me the cut that I need. So I'm going to draw a pencil line right through there. Yep, that's going to give me the mat that I need. And I'm going to do the same thing with this piece. Make sure that I've got everything going in the right direction because this paper does have a top and a bottom. Right now, I'm going to cut and ink these 2 mats, and then I'm going to ink all the other mats. I'll be right back. Got everything inked up, and before I go any farther, I do want to add a magnet to the outside of the right pocket. So I'm going to add 2 magnets because I don't think one is going to be quite enough to hold it. We're going to glue this mat down on the right pocket. Now while that's drying, I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to place this mat about 1/8 of an inch from this score line and 1/8 of an inch from this score line. It's okay that the pocket extends up above. That's absolutely fine. And this is the 4 1/2 by 7 1/2 piece, or flap. I'm going to dry fit this pocket to the flap. Make sure that it's going to fit. Looks like that's going to work. So I'm going to glue this down. Okay, we're done with that side. And we're going to repeat the process on this side, except no magnets. Now we're ready to add the flap with the magnet. It's going to go on the right side. And this is the flap that doesn't have a gusset on it. So we're just going to line the score line of the flap up with the free edge of the base page. Press that down, and then we're going to add the gusseted flap on the left side. And I added a gusset to it because I think there might end up being a little bit of bulk. So I've got the base page score line 1, score line 2 lined up with the flap score line 1, and here's score line 2 right next to the pocket. Okay, now we can add some magnets. And I want to keep this gusset pretty much perpendicular to the base page. For the inside mats, we're going to do a single image all the way across, and then we've got a couple of strips that are going to go right inside there. So did this with this particular page by cutting 2 3/8 inches from here to here. And then on the other side of the pattern paper, I cut another 2 3/8 inches. No, sorry, 3 3/8. 3 3/8. And then from the top and bottom of all of these, I cut 2 3/8 inches from the top and 2 3/8 inches from the bottom to get it more or less centered. So we got the 12 by 12 page. There, this cut is at 3 3/8. And this is 12 inches minus 3 3/8. Not feeling up to doing math at the moment. And so we got another 12 inches top to bottom. This cut along here is 2 3/8 inches from the top. And this cut right here is 2 3/8 inches from the bottom. First, I'm going to glue down the center piece. And the right side mat. So if you're using a different pattern and you don't need a uniform image all the way across, this mat is 3 3/8 by 7 1/4. Both of these mats are, and this mat is 5 1/4 by 7 1/4. And these mats are 3 3/8 by 7 1/4, and there are 2 of them. I like using wet glue because it lets me move things around and it gives me a lot more time to fix problems, but sometimes glue is a pain because it dries on your fingers and then it transfers to your project. that does it for page number 3. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more videos about mini album construction. If you have any questions, leave me a comment in the comment section down below, and I will leave links to all the materials that are available for sale online in the description box down below. Bye.